Do I have to fill up everything?
No, you don't. Thanks. Just a general public comment.
But if there is an overcharge, how?
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Perfect. Yep.
Hey, what are these blank ones? Because I saw another one that already said Lakeland Oaks Internet.
So these are going to be blank checks for them to pay during the month so that we don't incur late fees. That is one of the two internets here, so that's one
Okay,
of them.
okay.
And I think we have one specifically for the system purchase bar.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
All right, are we ready? Okay. All right, it is Wednesday, 18th of December 2024. It is 6:31, and I want to call this meeting to order. We will begin the meeting with the pledge of allegiance to the flag, and I will ask Carol if she can lead us into that.
We invite you to stand at your own decision, facing the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll go ahead and call a moment of silence prior. That concludes our moment of silence.
We don't have any sound on the live stream.
Was that during your moment of silence or before?
No, right now, I'm just hearing that they haven't heard anything.
Okay, let me see if something needs to be turned up. It could be. Thank you.
All right, we want to make sure that that's functioning before I begin to call.
I hear it. It's on.
I just made sure the audio was on.
All right, so let's call the first person that signed up, Linda Fogg. And if you can give me 1 second so I can set the timer. You are limited to 3 minutes. 1 second. You ready? Okay.
Last month's meeting made it abundantly clear that Muducation.org will need to introduce a new page titled Setting the Record Straight, given the bluster offered by Chris Rocco and the undeniable Open Meeting Act violations being committed by this rogue board. Specific examples include Hanoi unilaterally expanding the Christmas lighting project to benefit Beth Jones' Anderson Mill West section and Carol Norrell's HOA Valente Hills, a clear demonstration of this board prioritizing special interests over transparency and accountability. For more details on this misuse of power, visit Muducation.org. Let me address Chris Rocco directly. It is not an anomaly when the operator fails at basic utility record keeping. 6 months ago, there were 80 accounts with 0 deposits on file and 54 accounts holding between $600 and $1,600 in security deposits. No rate order has ever authorized such sums for deposits. Furthermore, 323 accounts require refunds under the current rate order. This isn't just poor management, it's systemic negligence. A competent auditor would immediately ask, how long has this been going on? What happened to the missing deposits? How much money is unaccounted for? Any auditor worth their salt would never dismiss these red flags as an anomaly. This lack of accountability doesn't stop with utility billing. Infomark has repeatedly demonstrated their incompetence, including its negligent handling of the Hatch lift station, resulting in its failure, a debacle that cost this district's taxpayers over $1 million. If Infomark can't manage even basic billing, how can anyone trust them to oversee the MUD's operations? This is deeply concerning and calls for immediate scrutiny. On the Christmas lighting project, I reviewed the proposals, and the facts are damning. It's evident that Beth Jones orchestrated the addition of her section and Carol Norrell's section to the project, along with additional expenses for wreaths. Hanoi approved the expanded scope and selected the highest bidder unilaterally without the board's knowledge or consent, with McKinsey citing the excuse that only one contractor could guarantee installation before Thanksgiving. Yet the lights weren't installed until well after Thanksgiving, proving the justification was a lie. This reckless behavior, rooted in dishonesty and blatant cronyism, is both unsurprising and entirely unacceptable. The taxpayers of the district deserve accountability, not excuses. Visit muducation.org for the details on water account deposits, lighting proposals, and opening the books. Thank you.
Any comments from the board?
I would like to make a comment if that's
Go for it,
permissible. I appreciate your endeavors, Ms. Phelps. You are mistaken. There were no lights put in Valenti Hills. I asked for nothing in Valenti Hills. Valenti Hills HOA took care of their own lights. There was no cost to the MUD for Valenti Hills.
I would like to make a comment. I think you got to correct your website stuff you're putting together, because I've been out this week. I wasn't involved in approving any unilateral act. You are welcome to show me any evidence that you have asked and cost this district this month well over $2,000 in asking information. You can show me an email or any evidence proving that I unilaterally approved that, and I'll be happy to review it, because I know it doesn't exist. You got it? That's it.
I would like the same, because I did not approve all that. And you like to use people's names so that you can put it on your website when you have false information,
She has a right to do
but not when it's false.
She has a right
I'm not on parks, I had nothing to do with that.
She has a right to do
She has the
Okay.
right to put false information out?
Can we have order?
She is, you're allowed to lie.
Okay, you got your comment done? Are you done with
Yeah.
your comment? Okay, anybody else? All right. Second person, last name Emmett. Okay.
Well, I have a question. If a client is overcharged, is there any way Informer can compensate for the extra charges?
What were you overcharged for?
Well, I'm 68 years old, and we have a special rate for 65 years and up, and they've been charging me regular rate for 3 years, and I was wondering if I can get a refund or a credit, even if it's month by month credit. I don't mind it.
Are you referring to your tax bill?
No,
my-
the district has senior rates for water and sewer basic
Oh, okay.
services,
Okay.
but it's been at the behest of people to let us know, because we don't keep age on the bills. So we've never really encountered this before, where someone's come in and asked. We can apply it moving forward.
It just came in yesterday, so that's.
If you have that policy, you should have also the same policy, having their age requirement or something. When you open an account, asking what age they are. because you
We
have
do
that
when you
one.
initially sign up.
Sign up.
But we can't keep your age documented in the billing system
I understand. but
to
in-
track once you
for
fall
billing
over the
purposes,
senior rate.
yeah.
So, excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt,
Also-
but what I'm hearing is that you're asking to see if we can go back to when you were 65 and apply that
Retro
to
credits.
current? Is that what you're asking, sir?
Yes,
Okay.
because I've been overcharged for 3 years.
Okay,
If I can get that credited, if I know that money probably already spent through your budget, but if I can get credited in future bills, so it wouldn't be a burden for you or me.
I think that we would have to put that on next month's agenda to discuss it, because it's not on our agenda to discuss this month.
Okay.
And I think it would be up to the board to decide if we would entertain that request. And we would all have to discuss it and decide next month. So,
That's all I'm
Cole,
asking.
can we put discussion of
The 65 and up water rates and
and
discussion about
possible
yeah.
reimbursement for reading? Yeah. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Can I make
Yeah, go
some?
for it, yeah.
When we put this policy in place, we tried to make it where it wasn't original, that we were following some sort of procedure like that the federal government follows. And like Social Security, you have to call and make an appointment and do it, request that you be put on Social Security and Medicare. And it's pretty much whenever you're given any kind of service by the government to ask for it, like Mackenzie said, you can't keep track of the age of people when they sign up, because it often, who's responsible for the bill could change, could be the husband, the wife, or whoever, but it's always been that the policy was very well clearly stated that if you asked for when you turn 65, we'll be glad to adjust your rate to reflect the senior rate.
But it is customary of the board to put it on the agenda, discuss it, and possibly make a, decision between everybody if we wanted to go. So I think it's something we should discuss.
I'm not arguing with that.
Any other question?
And you live on Spider Lily, correct, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. That I recognize, yeah. All right.
Do you have any questions, Beth?
Any other
We're good.
question for me?
Can you leave your
Address.
number, is your phone number on there as well? So we have a way, and maybe an email address? Which Mackenzie, you probably already have that on.
He came in yesterday and
Yeah,
just got it.
okay. Just want to make sure we have contact, so maybe contact them.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I guess we'll talk about that.
Yeah, you're welcome to stay. You can.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome, sir.
So we have item 2, consent agenda, including approval of minutes of October 16, 24, November 14th of 24, and November 20th of 24. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion that we approve the consent agendas for the minutes of October 16th of 24, the 14th of November of 24, and November 20th of 2024.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a second. Discussions, any questions on the uploaded files, 14, 16, and 20? Carol, Beth?
I just want to state that I've been busy and I wasn't able to read through all the minutes, so I won't be able to vote on this agenda.
Carol, you good?
I'm fine.
So should we vote, or should we postpone this through our next meeting? I'm hearing 2 directors have not had the chance to review it.
Well, this could be 3 with me, because I can only vote on one of them.
Yeah, so I think we should
Let's hold
postpone. Okay, let's postpone.
Can you vote on one of them, or can anybody vote?
Yeah, can we vote on one of them?
Let's get one off.
Should we get one, the 14th?
No, it's the 20th, isn't it?
November 14th is the first one, then the second one is October 16th, third one is November 30th.
Oh, okay, then the 30th is, when was the last meeting we had, the 30th?
No,
Correct.
yes,
30th.
but the things that have been uploaded for approval are the 20th, 16th, and 14th.
Okay.
So should we go with the latest, the 14th?
I think we should just approve them all at once next month, but.
All right, that's fine. I mean, I was present for the last two. I was not here to be able to vote for October, so I've
I
read,
was
but,
here for the-
I've read, but,
Yeah, I'm just going back on the video,
yeah.
so I have to go.
Yeah, and
it's
if
possible.
postponing is a viable thing to do, I'm okay with that.
Okay, so I'm hearing that we should postpone.
Right.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and postpone this to our next meeting.
All right, perfect.
Okay, so accountant's report.
Kara is on the line.
Thank you. Good evening, board. If you would please see my report and scroll past the cover page and look at page 2, you will see your summary of funds. Those tax pool interest rates are ticking down just a little bit. If you will look at page 3, you will see your cash flow for new first checking. We started the month with $18,856. You can see your receipts, a little tennis fees receipt, interest on ICS, and we did move a large amount from tax pool, $525,132.98 for total receipts of $525,761.55. Under your disbursements, you can see the holding check that you signed last month for electricity to Pernell's Electrical Co-op. We did issue that check in a timely manner for $4,560.69. I'm presenting checks 1439 through 1474 for your approval tonight. I know that the deposit refunds are redacted on one of your reports. I think you have the other one. But I wanted to let you know that there's not much out of the ordinary, but because of not receiving some invoices that we know we need, we are asking for several holding checks. Those checks are made out to the payee. The only thing that is blank is the amount, and those will be safely delivered to your payees. And those are highlighted in green. Those one of the things that we do so you can differentiate those. After your disbursement, of $356,122, we left just about $188,495 in that account in order to cover your holding checks. Page 4 is the cash flow for Central Bank. That's your operator account. We started that with a beginning balance of $36,942. You can see your accounts receivable under your receipts for $264,597, $452 interest on your sweep account for total receipts of $265,048.97. Under your disbursements, you can see a small service charge, chargeback fee, and then one more chargeback for returned checks from your water residents. And then you can see we did transfer $281,777.41 to tax pool for total disbursements of $281,991, and we left $20,000 in that account. Your cadence checking is on page 5. Your beginning balance there was just under $4,028. You had accounts receivable from Cadence Bank into this account for $464,041. That was your total receipt. Under your disbursements, you can see your fees of office highlighted in blue that we paid after your last meeting. You can see your little payroll taxes and payroll fees, and then there were some T-tax returns. In this account, we transferred $455,099.33 to tax pool, leaving $10,000 in this account. The reason we leave the minimum amounts in because those are really not interest bearing, and we want as much of your funds as possible sitting in tax pool earning that 4.8% interest. We have your cash flow for Cadence Bank reservations on page 6. We started the month with $12,483. You did have a facility rental of $1,086. And then you had a little off-net gateway fee that we see every month, an EXP fee, and then a facility rental refund. So your total disbursements were $1,008, and we left $12,561.49 in that account. Lastly, for cash flows, you will see your cash flow for the Cadence Bank Manager's account, and there were no receipts or disbursements, so the beginning and ending balance is $200.15. The last 3 pages of my report are your actual versus budget. This is for the month of November in the first 3 columns, and then since we're still in your, we're in your new fiscal year, you can see the data for October and November of 2024 in the second set of 3 columns. I'm going to just give you a moment to look at those accounts. Nothing really caught my attention that we necessarily needed to talk about this month, but I wanted to let you know that I'm open to any questions, any explanation, and I also just don't want to go too quickly.
Okay, we'll start with Carol, if you have any questions.
No, I've gone through it, and I believe I understand everything correctly and approve it.
David?
Yes, so on check number 1441 for $930.45, it says deposit refund, and I looked into that today, and it was a, what was it, Stephanie? It was overpayment. Is there a way we can change that to overpayment refund? Because the way it reads, it looks a little off that, it looks like somebody had a $930 deposit, which that's what rose a red flag to me and made me come in and double check that wasn't, is that something that we can do so when it's posted, or somebody asks, through open records, that way it shows what it correctly was?
Absolutely. We will change the memo and resend that to you. That's easily done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And let's see. So I had a question on G4120.
Okay.
Fire protection, we are negative. We budgeted for 58,000 and we received 54,000 and some. I guess this would kind of fall with Infomark as well, but I thought we have a set rate on what our fire protection is per connections. We have a total of we have 1,851 residential connections and 27 commercial connections. So the city of Cedar Park requires us to give them 30-day notice if any of those connections change, so we can get billed according to the amount of connections that we get billed for. So I'm just wondering why we're short.
It's likely from people who didn't pay on time.
Okay.
And have either they're in the delinquent process. You had a total of 118 people not pay on time this month.
118 people?
Received a delinquent letter, 113 tags were hung, so only 5 people paid between the time they got their letter and the time that they then received a tag.
And what is our fee here? We are at $32.98, is that correct? So if you multiply 118 times 32.98, that's 3,000, so that looks, okay, yeah. That sounds
And that
about
also
right.
tracks for, let's say last month you still had somebody that was delinquent or made a partial payment.
Okay.
It still won't cover their full balance, so people who carry, even if it's just a small balance of $20, say they paid a flat rate of $160, but their bill was $185, then they still carry that balance over, so you're still gonna show a deficit there, but that's most of the time where that deficit's gonna come from, is people who
Makes
don't pay on
sense to
time.
me. Okay, perfect. So on G5112, it says records request. That's not open records request, right? What is records request?
Records request is something that we would get probably through Infomark, but it is not an open records request.
Okay.
Anything that comes through your attorney is an open records request, and we have a separate line item for that.
If someone calls in and requests like W-9s or other businesses need things, I think that's what that's for.
Okay. I just want to make sure it wasn't open records because I know we had some and I was like, wait, that doesn't look right, but okay, that makes perfect sense, thank you. I'm trying to go through this quick so we don't take up too much time. The operator's fee, G5160. We budgeted 41,000, but.
You budgeted off of MOC's proposal.
I think we may have to adjust that, because that's a big difference, and if we do that over 12 months, that's quite a big chunk of change that we're not accounting for. So we may have to adjust this budget in the near future to accommodate that 120,000 around something. So.
Would you like for us to have a budget meeting in between the next meetings and consider that?
I think it's something that, it's 100 and, I'm not very good at quick math, but here, 12,000 times 10 is 120,000. That's you gotta find the money from somewhere to pay for it and allocate it correctly. I think that's the responsible thing to do with the people's money and be stewards of be good stewards of it. So, yes, if you can bring it up at the budget committee and see if they are willing to discuss it and adjust.
Cool, we add an item for next month for budget amendment. Just so that if they do end up moving forward, they have an item to talk about under it.
Thank you, Mackenzie. And you wrote, gotta scroll up. So the checks at the bottom that were highlighted in green, so you haven't received those bills yet, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and they're not the same thing as the Pedernales check that we're going to, because at Pedernales we're doing every month, we're doing a check, so we're not incurring late fees, is that correct, for the Pedernales one?
So if you look at that green one at the very top from
That was
last
from
month, that's
last
a
month,
holding
right.
check from last month.
So we're doing that the same thing this month?
And I think we're doing it with all of those bills specifically because they're gonna fall in a period of time where they will likely incur a late fee before you have to actually approve them next month, being that you haven't received them for this month.
So on all those bills, we have received late fees?
No, if you have, the reason for the holding check is to not receive a late fee.
Correct, but what I'm asking is, have we received late fees from all of those prior? Because the city of Cedar Park does not charge us a late fee. If you look back at all their records, they never charge us a late fee. It
But they
says,
will issue a notice.
they'll give you a notice, but it's not a late fee. And the point of this is to not avoid a late fee. So, I just have some, to write out 2, 4, 6, 7 checks that are blank checks, and not have the billing for the board to review and the bills and invoice committee to review, I think it's not wise. So I have a hard time approving that. And so that's all I just want to make sure that wasn't going to be a reoccurring thing, was my question. Sorry, I got off topic.
You done?
Yes, sorry, takes a long.
Chris?
I didn't have any questions after reviewing the accountant's report.
Okay. Do you have any questions or comments? Okay.
Do you?
I do. I do want to disclose, I am highly concerned the amount of money we spent, close to $2,000 on open records requests for 1 month. And yeah, if this continues, that's going to definitely create an issue, all to supply a mini website outside of the district to inform the public. And as we know, that expenditure primarily comes from Linda Fobb, an ex-director, and is spending a lot of money to this district. And I'm concerned about that. I just want to leave it for the record. And it continues to happen.
So I can make one comment on that. Yes, last month, I think it was the November invoice you're referring to, we did receive a handful of open records requests. Not just from that one individual, but we did receive other ones. I don't know how the split went on in terms of, how much time was spent for each one. But a lot of the requests that we have been receiving as of late, and I think I put this on my agenda under the attorney's report, but a lot of the requests we receive as of late are requests to see the meeting documents prior to the meeting. And so, that's why you have a lot of these like point two, because we have to go in and gather and go through our emails to collect all their points and send them. I put it on the agenda wondering if, as a point for you all as a board to consider, would you want to post that stuff to the website prior to the meeting, so then the individuals who tend to reach out, and I'll say there's probably maybe 6 or 7 individuals who are kind of our standard people who reach out to us for various reasons. And I can say that mostly all of them have always requested documents, meeting reports and packets and stuff like that. Some of them are more in-depth requests, but for the most part, that's what we get. And so I just wanted to, I put it on the agenda as something, because I think, yeah, you're right. My time isn't, mine and Tammy's time is not free. We don't want to be charging.
Oh, I see the billing.
Yeah.
I see the
But of
billing. You're
course,
spending a lot of time in those open
do
records
it, then,
requests.
we have to bill and keep track of it.
And the other people, can you share who the other people were?
We've received requests
Sarah
from.
Teal.
Yes.
I don't think we have to
You don't have to.
Yeah.
It's
Air it
important to
out.
know.
No, it's
That's something that
transparency
we
of
need to
public records.
discuss.
Absolutely.
Transparency, anybody can
Mr.
look into that.
O'Toole, he gives us some requests. And so, but again, none of these are, in my opinion, and I'm going to preface this saying I'm not defending anyone or defending any act or saying, I'm just giving you all the general consistency of the requests we get are for seeing reports or communications on why the website isn't updated or why can't, reports be viewed online, stuff like that. So, we can't let those emails just go to the wayside, and we do have to spend some time reviewing them. And typically, if you look at the invoices, Tammy handles the majority of those.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, now that we're talking about this issue of billing. We have fiscal responsibility. I'm assuming that if this gets out of control, the continual records requests, at one point do we say enough is enough?
Well, so there's statutory rules on individual record requests. So if person A makes a request, and I can't remember the amount, but I think it's like $7,000 or something like that. It's like $3,000 in a 30-day period. Don't quote me on the amount because I don't have it memorized, but it's a certain amount of money spent within a 30-day period or a certain amount during an annual period. So when it hits that threshold, whether you're in that 30-day period or if the person hits that annual period, let's say in May of the calendar year, then any records requests from that person from that point forward, they will be paying for that request.
So there is a limit?
Yes, there is a limit, yes.
All right, we'll look into that, I guess,
And I can
in the near
I'll
future.
pull that stuff and send it to y'all so you can see it.
We can assign it to a committee to look into that. Yeah, this has been a continual, we've spent a lot of money in record requests, haven't we,
Well,
in
if we go
previous
back
years?
to a few years ago, it's over 300,000. And now that she's not on the board, she's gonna rack it up about that high again.
Okay, but the Torah Act allows for that, and there are rules that are meant to prevent. And there's always this balancing act between transparency and how much money you're spending And I trust the legislature and whoever writes the rules to know what they were doing and to make sure that, there's an equal balance between that. I mean, we're a fairly good-sized MUD. We can afford, some open records requests. And I think when you start restricting information, then you have a bigger issue. You're restricting information. I mean, it was set up that for a reason. So I think we need to consider that and let the taxpayers, let the chips fall where they may.
I don't have an issue with open records requests. I do have issues that people are going on a fishing expedition for something.
Well, then do things
and wasting
like,
a lot of money in our district.
when someone from outside the district makes a request, label that outside the district request. I mean, and there's ways that you can gather the type of information that you're talking about, and it sort of couches it in such a way that, our residents are smart.
Yeah.
They know what's going on.
Fair enough.
Showed in the election.
Well, I just think that you provide us with that information.
Sure.
Whatever is legal is legal. Certainly, we have no reason to try to stop it at all. And so it is free up to a certain point.
Right, and yeah, for the most part, I mean, we haven't, I'm gonna use this phrase lightly, it's more easier requests as opposed to, it's when you get requests, we have received, not anytime recently, but we have received requests in the past of digging through tax records and pulling multitudes of data, which does cost, more money, because that's more time consuming. So I'll just reiterate, kind of the requests that we received as of late, which you can see from our invoicing, is more like, produce these documents, they're not on the website yet, can we see them, stuff like that. And we try not to charge a lot for that, it adds up, obviously, when you get a lot of requests.
Not only adds up in money, adds up in tidying up your time in district contractors. There's a lot of money spent. That's all I'm saying.
Can I make a comment? And this goes prior to when I was on the board in the past. We asked Severn Trent, when they were Severn Trent, to follow the record retention rule and retain those records which law requires us to retain, but to get rid of the records that we don't need to. Because when an open records request comes in, it says all records on hand. And if we've got records back to 1985, we're not following the law unless we go back and look at all the records back to 1985. And first of all, I don't think those records are relevant. That's why we're not required to keep them. And second of all, it's a whole lot of extra time for what could be irrelevant information. I mean, we're talking about board action, people, some of them aren't even alive anymore. So I know it's in, and the argument was from Severn Trent, it's going to cost you more money to follow the record retention law than it would be just to get a bigger storage room, when we finally get a huge office to store all the records after, 2055 and 2060. Sometimes we're going to have to bite the bullet and get rid of some of that stuff. And maybe we find a way to do it in an efficient manner. And, I think you're going to be catching up to the cost to provide open records reports back to 85 than you are what it's going to cost us to get rid of those boxes of invoices from 85 that we don't need anymore.
I think too, when Bill Flickinger was their attorney, that we had discussed a records retention schedule, and he was supposed to put one together, specifically categorized based off of what kind of record it was, how long the retention needed to be. I don't know if he ever did.
Oh, wait a minute. That's there already. It wasn't for us. Water boards, water districts.
But to adopt it as a board,
right.
that was the point.
It wasn't something he had to develop, though. He could have just said, here's the one everybody else is using, and this is what you're going to be held to, during an audit, and it just never happened. And it was mainly because of what the cost was going to be. Not that we didn't know how to do it, or which records to retain, or stuff like that. It was going to cost some money. And, maybe additional, storage space is in a step. The space we have now probably lasts us for another 5 years. And then we're going to have so many boxes of records, we're going to need a bigger space. and then another 5 years, we're gonna need a bigger space. I mean,
We don't
after a
need it all,
while.
though.
Huh?
We don't need everything.
Well, I agree, and I'm just saying, we need to bite the bullet and implement a record retention policy, which means get rid of the stuff that we don't need, that the law says we don't need, and we're not trying to hide from anybody. It's just stuff from '85 is not very relevant now.
Well, I agree. I think you made a point earlier about kind of getting a committee together to discuss
Right.
it. We keep that spreadsheet that you all as a district have always kept in terms of, all the requests that are made. We keep up with that spreadsheet. So if you as a board can do it, or you can assign people to look
Yeah,
at it and make recommendations.
I think the whole idea of a committee is a good idea.
Yeah, I do too.
So you can go through and see what are all the requests that have been received over the past 3 years, and is there a way we as a board can, eliminate them?
If we could do some timely requests where if we can't get it up within the 10 days they're allowed, if maybe they could ask, can you get it in within 30 days? And we could post some of that stuff onto the website within a period of time that Infomark can say, yeah, we can do that. It's just when the requests are made and we're having to drop what we're doing and get them something that we were gonna do anyway in 2 weeks.
All right, so can we move on?
Sure.
On this?
We got a timeline.
All right, so C, status of unclaimed funds.
We're still on the accountant report.
Oh, sorry.
We have the motion
Yeah.
to pay bills.
All right, so payment of bill and invoices. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to pay bills.
Do we need an amount?
What, a dollar amount? No, what is it?
$356,122.17.
Hold on a second.
356, 122, 17.
And were you done with your report?
Okay, we have a motion on the table that has been placed. Can you hold on that one? Can you finalize your motion?
Okay.
Yes, make motion that we pay bills, $356,122.17.
Do I have a second for that?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a second. Do we need any further discussion? No. Can we vote? All in favor? All right, motion passes.
I'm a no.
All right, so can we then go to C, status of unclaimed funds? Do you have an update on that?
Kara, did you have an update on that one? 3C?
We don't this month. We're still waiting on some information from Infomark because there were checks of identical amounts, and we can't tell which payee is the correct payee because of the identical amounts of the checks.
Okay.
Who in Infomark did you reach out to, Kara? On the IMS side?
I will have to ask him. I'm sorry, I can't supply you with that name
That's
right
okay.
now.
If you let me know, then I can ping a follow-up if y'all haven't heard anything back.
Okay, perfect. You may hear me typing up meeting notes, and I'll put that on there.
Thank you.
Yes,
Okay, any questions on item 3C?
No.
No.
Yes.
Chris said no. He said no.
You said no?
Yeah.
Okay, David, go for it.
How long have we been handling this item? Like I feel like it's been 4 or 5 months already that it's just been pushed. And I'm just wondering how long, and it just feels like it's costing us a lot of money. First it was going through all these boxes, and we're just still dragging, we're still going on. So it just, to me, in my head, the money's piling up for this item.
We have not charged you for this item,
Okay.
and when we get this answer back from Infomark, we still will not charge you, and we will finish it as soon as we're able to.
Okay, so going through all the boxes, because I believe somebody stated that we went through so many boxes and it's hours of work, and because I think I questioned it on some of the billing, that they were going through boxes for this item, but I'll double check on that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Carol,
Yes.
do you have anything to say on item 3C?
No, I do not.
Questions? Okay. Excellent. Engineers report.
My name is David Fuseli. I'm with Westwood Public Professional Services. I'm subbing for Jacob Valentine this this month who's out on paternity leave. You've got the engineer's report memorandum. Item 4A, it's identified in the report as status of district facility assessment. That's actually the sanitary sewer cleaning and televising project. Westwood has prepared contract documents for this work, and what we would like is the board to authorize Westwood to publish a public notice for this work so we can begin accepting bids from contractors. We would need 2 public notices, and we're ready to move forward on that.
I apologize. You said you are addressing which item here?
It's 4A.
4A.
And it's
Okay.
in the report, it says status of district facility assessment, but that is actually the sanitary sewer cleaning and televising project.
And that's had all the pictures attached to it.
Right. And that is required by the TCEQ for areas over the Edward Aquifer recharge zone.
I'd like to make a motion. I move we authorize Westwood to advertise the following projects.
Do we have a copy of that proposal? Is it in the folder?
It is, we did send that.
Yeah, same for 2 public.
There was 4 attachments, and then there's the engineer's report, so if it's within the 4, it should be in there.
Okay.
They're all on the Google Drive, Cole.
If not, we can get that.
Okay.
Do you recommend we hold off, Cole?
No, I don't see it. I mean, all you're authorizing them to do is advertise
Yep.
the project. They're not
Okay.
signing I mean,
Contracts or
you're
anything.
giving them the authority to advertise for it, which they have to do by law, so I'm assuming.
Actually, I misunderstood. This document has not been sent to the board yet. But we are just requesting authorization.
Yeah, I thought at the last meeting, the board asked for a
Postpone it,
proposal
just till we
on
go
what you
through the
all thought,
infrastructure
maybe.
committee
Does that sound accurate? Contract docs. Let's see, let me just take.
Hey, Cole, I'm gonna rescind my motion, and
Okay.
we're gonna go over it at the
committee.
infrastructure committee meeting.
Okay, I'll give you right back, let me just.
Well, if you want to keep that,
You sure?
you can. Yeah,
You sure?
Sure.
So we're going to defer this one.
Right, yep,
All right.
because it wasn't uploaded to the drive.
Okay.
I hate to postpone it, but it's the right thing to do, just hold on.
Okay, so we're postponing that, so
Okay.
you can go ahead and move to 4B.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
4B is the status of lead and copper rule revisions. Westwood has been monitoring the TCEQ and EPA websites regarding the timelines and all the requirements. The EPA has released a finalized lead and copper rule improvements fact sheet. In fact, they've actually published those rules. They are not final, but they have been published in the Federal Register. Some of the items of note is the EPA has stated that service lines in the district that are still unknown or discovered to be lead or galvanized require replacement. They need to be identified by November 1st, 2027, and the district will be required to develop a replacement plan. That is based on the current draft rules from the EPA. One of the things that I would say is that the TCEQ has not issued any kind of formal guidance on these latest rules, and so I would recommend that the board wait until the TCEQ provides some guidance. We're not requesting that you take immediate action on this right now. There are some other things though in this. One of the things that has come up is there has been a lot of questions about this, and Westwood has developed a frequently asked questions document to answer all of the the questions that we have received via email, and the board has a copy of this document, which is the frequently asked questions document. There are also the emails that we have received that are asking questions about this. On this item, what Westwood would like is for the board to approve the frequently asked questions document and allow Infomark to post that on their website. And we would also like approval of us to develop responses to those individual emails that can be forwarded to the people that sent the emails in. And that may be something that we draft and then send it to the MUD attorney for their review before we send it to the individuals.
I don't recall at committee level reviewing the title document WTCMUD1 unknown service line FAQ. We didn't cover that at our committee meeting level.
Again.
And I think what I would also like to hear from our from McKenzie, because I know you have been involved in this lately. Your thoughts on this? Should we hold on before we...
I have not had the chance to look through the FAQ, but I do know that Westwood specifically developed it based off of the questions you all have received. Those have funneled through Infomark to Westwood. We're getting more still. I think it's a needed document, so I think if y'all would like to approve a contingency approval to put it on the website based off of if you and David could give it a review within the next week, determine if y'all are good with it from the committee level, we can publish it. I think it's needed, and these people are waiting on responses and have been for weeks now while this has been getting developed, because people are not asking basic questions that are easy to answer either. People are getting very specific, wanting to know who's going to pay if their lines leading to their home have lead, etc. So I think it's very much needed. You need to get this information out there because people have a lot of questions.
So have the new questions that keep coming up, is it the same one, so it really will knock out most of them?
You can overlap a lot of it.
50-60% covered?
I would say close to 80.
80? Okay. And has everybody on the board read this material? So we can all decide now to go ahead and...
I read the FAQ document.
Yeah, I did too.
And do you feel that it's...
And I read the letters, that prompted the
I mean, I had nothing to compare it to. I figured the engineer was the one that knew that. I mean, we approved doing that the last meeting.
I don't believe it was ready when we had...
It wasn't, but I'm just saying, I haven't seen what's coming in, so we're just gonna have to trust the engineer that he put the report together, maybe have Infomark look at it and say, yeah, that looks like it's covered everything. Because you're gonna be doing the 15% to 20% that's not gonna be covered by the specific questions.
Yeah, they're still gonna come in, I'm sure, like we have the dedicated email and the phone number, which has been what's been utilized, so I don't mind giving it a review. I've skimmed it, I just haven't read each of the answers in full, but I truly don't think that I'm gonna have an opinion otherwise of saying, yes, let's go ahead and move forward.
That's what
There's a lot of
Does
people
somebody want to
that
make a motion
need
to...
responses.
I'll make a motion that we approve the FAQ report and we get it, we put it on our website.
Correct, we'll
And
publish it.
that we also approve Infomark continuing to work on the individual 15 to 20% of the items that aren't covered.
And then Westwood would need approval to respond to those that have
Right.
sent in.
And I don't know, whatever's necessary to go through Cole's office, goes through Cole's office. That's my motion.
Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. Do we need any further discussion? I am concerned about something. There's some citing of law into this document. And Nicole, have you had a chance to look into this? They're citing the Safe Water Drinking Act, and I want to know that we're not publishing something that's, that has no authority.
No, it looks like that's the link to the EPA's website, which is, the EPA is in charge of this whole lead and copper rule.
Okay.
So that they claim that is
And is this through TCEQ? I mean,
TCEQ is the enforcement, EPA is the driver.
okay, so there's not a set, you know, is every MUD district going through doing the same thing?
If you have a PWS number, yes, you had to submit an LCRR.
But aren't pretty much the questions going to be the same from everybody, all the different districts? I mean.
Yes and no, but I will say, Chris, y'all's is the only one we've received an influx from. We have, and we've done it for over 100 plus, but I think 300 close to PWSs. Y'all's is the only one we've received an exorbitant amount of.
We are informed and we want to know.
Y'all's district is the reason we developed an email and a phone number to funnel to.
Okay.
They're paying attention, that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Okay, we had a motion and a second.
We had a motion and a second. Any more discussion, Beth?
No.
So we're good to move forward and vote on this? All right, all in favor? Get the information out.
We'll get it published.
Okay.
Item 4C is, it actually just refers back to item 4A, so we can move on to item 4D. Update on the concrete masonry unit wall notice letter. On November 26th, Infomark sent out the letters to the impacted residents. And we're not asking for any kind of action on that. Item 4E has a few items. One is the El Salito sidewalk. Westwood reached out to a contractor and we received an estimate for the work to repair that sidewalk near where the tree is affecting the slope of that sidewalk. And so we are on that. If the board decides to move forward with the proposal, we recommend that the district's attorney review this contract prior to execution.
Yes. Did you get any other offer bids?
We have not.
You have only this one?
We have this one offer, this one proposal, and that is the proposal where they're going to inject material underneath the sidewalk and raise the elevation of the sidewalk, so it would basically slope for about 50 feet each side of that tree is the way that would be repaired.
Is that, I read through the offer, the proposal. I'm not having problems with the top part, the money. I did read all that long extended amount of information at the bottom. And it caused me to have some questions, so I guess when you get, if this is the one we go with, then that will be talked over with our attorney, I guess, before we actually sign something. Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
Same question.
yes, it is. Yes.
Because the proposal says concrete or cement slurry, but yet somewhere down in that, whatever number it is, there's something that y'all would, or that contractor, not you personally, but would have the right or could make a change to the terrathane high-density polyurethane, et cetera, with that long term. My knowledge is limited. I have enough to be dangerous, perhaps, but why would you, what would be the reason to not do the cement slurry and to go to this other material?
I will confess that I am not an expert at this slurry installation, and I can reach out to the contractor and get some more information on that if you would like.
Well, I read all of that.
Okay.
And it causes me to have several questions, and there's no point in going through them at this juncture. But I do have questions, and certainly with Cole, we can do that. But are you going to try to get another proposal, or is this the only one that has come in?
This is the only one that's come in. I mean, we can try to get some more and reach out to some contractors if we need to.
Well, I'm not, don't misunderstand me, I'm not doubting your judgment. I highly respect it. It's concerning when we only have one proposal. And fixing a sidewalk is one thing, but this is more than just fixing a sidewalk. And because there's much discussion in there about if it drops after the fact.
Yeah.
If there's something has to be removed, who's responsible for damages to water lines and electrical lines and all those sorts of things that are under the ground and so forth. So anyway, I just say that I did read it, and I'll hold my questions until a later time, I guess, if we're going to try to get more, or what is...
Well, I was generally going to say, I'd like to have your opinion on it, to say, okay, if this goes wrong, we're stuck with it. If they don't do this, then we can make them correct it and fix it. I want to know what we're going to get stuck with, and them say, oh, we did what our contract said we were going to do.
I would also like to add that at committee level, we've talked about actually laying new concrete as an option. Now we're coming back with this option of injecting the concrete to raise the level. And so I am wondering why this is the best thing to do. I am reading there that tree roots may cause concrete to settle or move. And so I'm kind of wondering if this is the best thing to do. I know it's cheaper because when we talked the last time, pouring concrete and creating the form we've talked about $12,000. And this method for sure is going to save us a lot of money. We're talking about how much.
Is it going to work?
But the question is it going to work?
Right.
They're saying they won't pay for it if it messes.
Yeah, well, the committee needs to discuss it.
Okay. Any further on?
I don't think it's an action item we have to do. It's pressing life or death that
agree.
I think that we can hold off, let the committee meet again, have Jacob come back in. I know that this is not your primary, so to kind of throw all these questions at you, I think it's...
Is the reason you're not getting more than one bid? Do you have any idea?
One thing I was going to ask is, do you want, before the next meeting, would you like us to reach out to a few other contractors?
Sure, yes,
maybe a few that do the conventional method. I know you said it's around $12,000, which doesn't shock me, but maybe we can talk to a few that I know that do small concrete jobs and just see what we get. And I agree, just having one bid is kind of, it puts you in a tough position.
If we had 3, that would be...
Right, and we'll look to see if we can find another contractor that does this method and then a conventional, and maybe give something to compare.
Yeah, and if you could get, like on the one you have now, if we could talk to some of the customers to see, how satisfied they are with the work that was done and whether, they have second thoughts about doing it that way, that might be helpful also.
Something that kind of caught my eye too is in their proposal, it very specifically says as best as possible, which seems like they may not be very confident in the abilities to do what they're proposing to do.
So can you ask Jacob to put it in our committee agenda as an agenda item in our committee level? I think we'll talk about that further.
Okay, all right, that's good.
All right, so can we move on to the next
That was
item?
deferred.
We'll have
Item 4EB is the 3007 peppergrass drainage along the CMU wall. Westwood, we've contacted several contractors that came cost estimates for installing drainage blocks or to allow for drainage through the wall, at the bottom of the wall. We have not received responses from those contractors, but when the cost estimate is received, Westwood will contact the resident and allow the resident to decide if they wish to move forward on that at their expense. And then Westwood would monitor the construction.
I think it's going to be difficult to find a contractor that's willing to come out and give for one block.
I agree.
It's like, I'm not wasting my time. One block, you're talking about 100, you know, yeah, no, I got.
The setting up expense is so high, it's gonna make the cost
Yeah,
really hard.
but we can wait and see. I know I'd pass, but, you know, I believe that if it was a single guy, not a huge company, that, yeah, he's looking for work, he's willing to, but you're trying to get these big multi-million-dollar companies to come and take a look at the drainage, it just doesn't make sense to me that they would respond, but
And the
that's
small
just my
companies,
opinion.
they're not gonna be bonded and,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
well,
continue the discussion.
should we go ahead and move on then to general manager's report?
Thank you for.
Are you done with the engineer report?
There is also the CMU wall issue. It's 4E, probably should be C. It's at 2012 Lakeline Oaks.
Yeah.
And Westwood has scheduled quarterly inspections on that CME wall, and we will monitor the wall every quarter to see if there's an issue with it. But the current inspections, on-site inspections that we've done, it does not appear that it's an issue to us.
Right, and we've saw that at committee level, so it's, I think we visited that same issue twice, and
Right,
Jacob is pretty adamant that it's not.
right.
So did everybody see that somebody at Lakeland, that gentleman on that address reached out, and did I send everybody that email about, because he reached out to me, did he reach out to you?
No.
Um,
Which one you're talking about?
the
That Lakeline.
Lakeline Oaks, the 2012 Lakeline Oaks, he did reach out to me. Mackenzie, did you get any, or Stephanie, any email?
We
Right?
did, and
Okay.
it's why it's on the agenda. It's 8E on your agenda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I guess we'll discuss it when we get to 80. And this way, you can finish up your report and we'll move on.
The only other item on the engineer's report is the infrastructure committee report, and there was a copy of that in the packet.
Yeah.
All right, so no more action items. I appreciate your time. Thank you, sir, for being here.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to, Jenny.
If y'all need any time to get to it, it's
Yeah.
page 10 of the general manager's report or board packet report attachment. So streetlight survey was conducted on the 12th of November, and all lights were reported working. The pole over at 1100 Hunters Creek, MNC notified us that it's been ordered, but it does have a 6 to 10 week lead time. So we're kind of just in that limbo period waiting for it to come in. Water accountability, that should say no for November, is in there. It's okay, and it's 96%, so we're still trucking along good. Like I said earlier, 118 delinquent letters mailed, we had 113 tags hung, and 13 disconnects made. This has been on the agenda for a couple of months now, but we discussed it at the infrastructure committee meeting because this really hasn't fallen under any committee thus far as the meter change out material for residents. So further down in the report, you'll find, starting on pages, I believe it's 19, 20, and further down, you've got a couple different forms of communication we've drafted for other districts that we've utilized. It's obviously up to the board to modify and adjust as you all see fit with what you want to send out. These are just examples of items that we have sent for other districts. Within that, we have a couple different methods for communication. We have the meter change out prior notice that a resident will get prior to a meter change out when they're doing the full change out with an endpoint. Then you have the one that you get post, as well as the letter to the residents explaining what you put in, how to access Ion Water, etc., as well as the Ion Water instructions, which is the account you go on and sign up to be able to monitor your own data. The district started this program many years ago prior to me even being with y'all, and they started with 10 pilots. And then since then, we've installed almost exactly, I believe, 600 meters, including your 10 pilots and endpoints. So if the board wants to allow the committee or a committee to review and bring it back. It's something we've discussed at the infrastructure committee level because that's also the committee that we would process ordering new meters and endpoints through, so it only made appropriate sense to do it there. But we wanted to provide it for you all to take a look at. Like I said, it's been in the packet for a couple months, so it might look like you've seen it a couple of times.
What was that number on the amount of meters you put in there?
It's like, I don't have the
600?
exact, I think it's right around 600 total, including your 10 pilots, as well as all meters that have been installed that are now AMRs and the endpoints.
And so all the ones that we are ordering now are those electronic meters, correct?
Yes, we don't order any of the analogs anymore. We haven't placed an order in some time.
How many do we have sitting on the shelf?
I don't know the exact number you have on the shelf. I know that we're sub 30 at this point. I just don't recall exactly what the number is. The last time we placed an order was for the majority of the endpoints, which I think was 575 or 585. And with that, we bought 75 additional meters, but that was really just to kind of keep an inventory for anybody who ended up with a dead meter or needed a change out otherwise. So we've slowly dwindled that down for about 2 years. I think we're sub 30 at this point.
Okay. And,
I reached out to Badger, we discussed at the infrastructure committee meeting, reaching out to Badger to get a cost letter for new meter order. We've not received that back yet. Badger's pretty slow on communication right now, so I hope to have it for January, and then y'all can decide at that point what you want to move forward with, as far as an order goes.
did we budget for new meter?
You have a small budget
Small,
in there,
right?
it's like 10,000 or something to that effect.
But it's something.
It is a budget number
It's
though.
something. So we have something to order, and then we're gonna have to discuss next year and keep increasing. Okay.
Correct. So I want to kind of get a clear path forward as far as the material goes and how the board wants to proceed with determining what needs to go out to residents, et cetera. Obviously, we're a little late on the prior notice for a lot of people because we've officially done around 600, but we can either take the letter you have in the packet, modify it, and draft it more so for y'all's district, as far as people already having had the meters and the endpoints in the ground, as well as the ion water instructions, and then work from there, but this will also need to be decided for any future installations as well.
Do we move this to the committee level to review? And anybody that has input, email
Yeah,
the engineers?
I agree. Let's move it to committee level.
Would you like it to be to the engineer or to myself, because it's our material?
Or informal? Thank you.
Okay.
All right, keep on.
Okay. Next up on the list is your MS4 annual report prep. That annual report is due at the end of the year. It's due by December 31st or whatever the last business day, I think it's the 29th. Tonight in your packet, we will also be doing your annual MS4 training. We do it every year at your December meeting, and then we utilize both that training doc as well as your agenda to supply in your annual report. So we'll go over that next. Last up after that is the hatch lift station outcome. I wanted to kind of bring this up because after Infomark's response to the district's demand letter, there has been no communication since. So we wanted to bring this up and have it noted as far as any kind of meeting minutes go or documentation that there has been no negligence found, there was no settlement made, and that's where we've left things, so.
Can you repeat that?
It's in the report, so I said we wanted to circle back on the discussion of the hatch lift station for the catastrophic failure. The last one of communication presented was from Infomark in response to the district's demand letter, providing proof that there was no negligence on Infomark's behalf regarding the hatch lift station catastrophic failure. We would like this reflected in the minutes and would appreciate the district's acknowledgement of such.
Thank you.
So, right, so that was the last correspondence. You all as a district never never responded basically to that letter. So I think that's, I'm assuming what you all want is to kind of just wrap it up.
Yes.
Or get a response.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
So how are we handling this?
We're good?
Well,
It's a question.
it's kind of the thing is-
How as a board, we're gonna handle this letter? Are we gonna pursue it? Are we gonna say Infomark had no negligent, was not negligent? How are we gonna handle it?
I'd recommend you all talking about it in
In the
executive.
executive session?
Yeah.
Do we go into executive session now, later?
Should we just leave that for we have the time at the end
Yes.
of the executive session, so let's just move on. Is everybody in agreement with that?
Yes.
Okay.
So next up on our list is, I believe, the MS4 annual training. So it's the second document in the folder. It's also been published on the district's website for any of the public who wants to access that. If you go to the general manager's item on the board packets meeting page, it's at the very end of that. So this again is training you all get every year. Waiting on mine to load. So this will look different in the future, just as a preface there. With the new MS4 permit that's come out, there are new regulations. There is an entirely new MCM, which is one of the essential chapters within the MS4 permit, is the best way to put it. And under each MCM, which is called a minimum control measure, is a BMP, best management practices listed. So Jacob and I have both been tracking the MS4 permit. He's tracking for updates to your stormwater management program, which is a very thick document that we have to have, and it basically tells TCEQ what the district does on an annual basis, what kind of rules, regulations, and resolutions we have in place for certain things that pertain to stormwater and the MS4 permit, and so on. So our little training has always been titled Precipitation Shouldn't Pollute the Nation. As far as key topics that we cover what is an MS4 and why is it important, as far as how it pertains to the district. Stormwater, what is it and what is it comprised of? How is our district managed stormwater and where does it go? Public outreach, the Clean Water Act, which kind of started it all, the point source, non-point source, how we're doing our part, benefits, as well as community involvement. So I'm on slide 3 if anybody wants to follow along as far as what is an MS4. So you have 3 different categories here. To go over. You have municipal, which is just a system owned by public agencies. You typically have townships, cities, counties, flood control districts, states, and federal agencies. You have separate stormwater systems, which they do not connect or tie into sanitary sewers, and they do not lead to wastewater treatment plants. So it's not going somewhere to be treated. Then you have your storm sewer system, which is the system that's comprised of your drains, your ditches, curbs, inlets, things like that, and gutters, and then those things move through your stormwater system and typically go to another body of water. So next up is a little depiction of kind of most of everything you could probably think of doing at your home, as far as if you wash your car, where do the fluids go? If your oil drains and it goes in the road, where does it go? When you flush your toilet, where does that water go? Things of that nature, and how they flow through the system. And then next up is stormwater, as far as what it is. It's obviously rainwater, runoff, and or snow that is melted into runoff and infiltrates the surface and makes its way through a district stormwater system. It does have the potential to introduce any kind of pollutants to surface water, which is why it's important that we track what we put in our system. The runoff from construction sites is one of the biggest leading factors of TCEQ running with MS4 permits. For soil erosion, as well as erosion control measures were developed based upon that to ensure that when yards aren't loamed within 7 days and there's a rain event, that the entire dirt that was based down before the yard was going to be loamed doesn't go into the stormwater system. That's why we have regulations to ensure where there is construction. You have what's called an SW3P, or most contractors have to follow one, specifically to protect stormwater systems within districts where construction is taking place. And then the EPA is the one who regulates the construction activity, as well as the majority of MS4, with TCEQ being the enforcement officer, as well as the delegated authority to track and regulate. And then you, on slide 6, you have a picture of the district's map here. It shows you our stormwater system, as well as once it reaches the outermost points of the stormwater system, where does it go? We have 2 bodies of water that y'all's stormwater does track to, Buttercup Creek as well as Cypress Creek. And then as far as public outreach goes, in the past we've labeled the storm drains. It's about time to do that again. There's different ones you can utilize. You can also do a numbering system if you wanted. We didn't do that in the past. Rain garden workshops. You can send out material via the mail. In the past, we've reached out to schools, provided coloring books, and just information. I've had other districts who do regular community events, and when they do those, they have a table there set up specifically for stormwater, just to inform people about what it is. And there's a company that is actually called think it's education and outreach. They have an entire stormwater division, and they provide little trinkets that you can hand out, whether it be a bookmark that you can later bury and plant because it has a seed inside of it and it'll grow something, things like that, as well as stress balls, rain gauges, things to help people be more water centric in their mind. Slide 8 is the Clean Water Act. Like I said, this kind of established it all as far as where we needed to go with clean water and how to get there. Clean Water Act was enacted in 1948, but it was later expanded upon and amended and reorganized in 1972, specifically after however many years between the two. A lot of people actually reached out to the EPA and wanted to basically provide input and be a part of how the development of the Clean Water Act processed. Then you have your pollution as far as where does it come from, non-point source and point source. It's pretty self-explanatory. Point source is something you can point to. You can directly determine exactly where something is, where it's coming from. And then non-point source is things where it's you know you have a problem, but you can't necessarily find where it came from, is the best way to put it in layman's terms. So the majority of point source, common ones are wastewater treatment plants, landfills, utility stations such as lift stations, motor pools, as well as fleet maintenance facilities. That's the majority of where you see your point source. And the non-point source is where you have sediment runoff, nutrient-rich and deep soil that is infiltrated through groundwater, makes it to your stormwater system, microorganisms, as well as toxics from herbicides and pesticides that you put on the ground. And then how can stormwater be a problem? Obviously, it can cause a lot of problems, including erosion. It can cause soil degradation in areas where toxic or nutrient-dense or microorganisms travel to. One of our biggest things we tell people and how to educate kids is don't jump in rainbow puddles, because a lot of kids like to stomp in them, and that's literally oil and gas mixed with water. So that's another one. So when you see those, it's typically some sort of substance mixing with the water. And then there's a second picture there. This is an example of likely a construction site that was not properly, didn't have proper erosion control measures installed, and therefore quite a lot of sediment was in the street after a rain event. 11, as far as how we're doing our part in protecting the community, your first step there was getting an MS4 permit to begin with, something that's not necessarily an easy feat. We track all pond work performed within the work order system, and we provide a list of that to TCEQ on an annual basis. The district has talked about in the past, and hopefully will in the future, hosting events and or workshops to educate the public. And then we also hold the annual meeting every year for this training, and it's available online. As far as rules being enforced by the district for the water and wastewater and the drainage system, we do have a portion of your rules and regulations, and it's posted on the district website, that specifically talks to your drainage rules and more or less how the district manages that. So that is the first step there. And then expected benefits of your MS4 overall, you have better drinking water quality and better quality within the district. You mitigate flash flooding with proper damage mitigation with your ponds, your trickle channels, and your depositing water bodies having the proper maintenance that they need. Drinking water quality is better, your human health against illness is better, and just overall community value. And then how can you get involved? Obviously report any and all stormwater related issues, or if you see or feel like you've noticed an illicit discharge to Infomart. We always advertise the contact us drop down within the district's website for people to reach out to, simple and easy, and then relay any information y'all have heard within the presentation to others. And then the last page is for any additional information and questions. There's a link to the TCEQ page for the MS4, there's a link to the EPA Clean Water Act, as well as the EPA MS4 information page and the district's MS4 page, as well as a contact information for Infomart. And that really concludes it. So like I said, I would anticipate that presentation to change a little bit come next year based on the new MCM as well as the BMPs enacted by TCEQ for the new permit.
Thank you for that long drawing.
Sorry.
Oh, sure. Usually it's 30 minutes.
And then we will, now that once the meeting is concluded and we will have the agenda, we will put together the packet and we will submit. That is another thing that has changed moving forward. Right now we mail into the stormwater department per current rules and regulations of what TCEQ wants you to do. Moving forward, the district will have to submit it's no longer gonna be fiscal year based. So right now, your MS4 permit is fiscal year based. So you have your fiscal year ending of September 30th, and you have 90 days thereafter to conclude your annual report and submit. Moving forward, it will be based on a calendar year. So it will be January 1st to December 31st. Everyone will be due to submit their annual reports December 31st. So I don't know if you keep a track of a calendar specifically
We're
for
gonna add
it.
it to the district
I would
calendar.
move the training up a month at minimum to provide a little extra time since our deadline, even though it will still be 12/31, that's not gonna conclude the full year until then either. So, excuse me. And then it will no longer be mail-in, it will be electronic submission for all MS4s moving forward.
Cole, the calendar that you're gonna change it to, is it the one that's on the drive or is that yours?
We have an
You have
internal one, but we can share it with you all, and you all can
Yes.
compare it to the drive, and we can kind of just keep one. Yeah,
Because we have one on the drive, so I just wanna make sure that one gets updated too.
sure.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go for it.
I read a report where psychologists say that the earlier you can get a child, information, the sooner he implements it, it becomes part of his life. And there's been a program about going to elementary schools and telling them, you know, you don't throw things down the toilet, this is the only thing that goes there. And I know the catastrophic lift failure, part of that is what's in there and stuff that's in there. I've seen there's companies that do these presentations, and since we do have 2 schools in the district, maybe something to consider. See if there could be a presentation. It only has to be 15 minutes or something like that. But these kids come out of there and they go home to their parents and jump on them about throwing stuff into the toilet that shouldn't be in the toilet, and that's great, And you have a whole generation that's changed the way they look at that type of participation, because there is stuff they can do.
Understood. Thank you.
But I would, a caveat to that is to connect with the schools, and you want the science teacher involved.
Yes.
And this clearly, whether you hire some agency or you put it together or you have a board member with you or whatever, but elementary age, probably 4th grade, but nevertheless, it goes right into the whole study of the
Environmental science.
Yes,
Right.
yes. And so that's extremely important. I mean, I know this thing says to plan to host workshops and events that will invite the public to participate. Well, that's a great idea, but parents don't necessarily.
Right. And they're in school.
Well, I don't
And-
think, I'm sorry, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, well, yes, is there something?
No, just because I don't know if the residents and the adults are even aware that this doesn't go down the toilet, or this doesn't go down,
Well,
Some of them don't.
well,
So,
the thing is, I'm an educator, okay? I've participated in a good many of these kinds of things from the other side
Yeah.
of TCEQ, groundwater. So I've been there and done this, and you certainly have things that are interesting to young children, or I say roughly 4th grade is the place where you're studying about what's happening with water, the water cycle, if you will, and so forth, and they become extremely interested. And anyway, that's just a statement to say, I think it's a good idea to try to pursue the science teacher.
Yeah, absolutely. Other than that, that concludes everything on my report. I know, Cole, you had on there confirmed submission, but I don't think the board needs to vote. We've always done it without a vote in the past, but just as an acknowledgement for the minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so can we move on to committee assignments number 6?
I just had a question for Mackenzie. I know your report was all of it together. Just a quick note that on your report, I get it. On page 12, under average consumption tracking in 2023 in November, is that number correct? 851,800? That may be a typo, because look, this year it's 37,000, so.
I don't want to say no without looking, but I can look into
But
it.
can you look into
Yeah.
that, because it's that's just something that stuck out when I was going through the report.
Yep, no
Thank
problem.
you, that's it.
Committee assignments and reports. So yeah, let's start with reports. So 6A, park committees, including review and approve proposal as needed.
We don't have any proposals for approval. I did request a couple based off of some of our budgetary items we had decided on prior to the budget being approved, specifically for some of the replacement items. We presented last month one of the proposals that we had brought forth specifically for the shade on that side of Lakeline Oaks. The board voted to not, or not voted, but decided to not move forward with. So we've since reached out for a replacement, I forget what they're called, but the cog kind of toy that had the stackable pieces over at Anderson Mill West that the old previous Parks Committee had decided, or not decided, but wanted to add to the budget. So we've requested a proposal for the Parks Committee to consider. Other than that, that's really all we have. And then the disc golf mats have been installed, which was done by Park Pro Tech, as well as so far everything that they were scheduled to do has been approved. Okay.
So I wanted to, obviously there's only one committee member, and that's going to change tonight, but if Infomark is responsible, or we've discussed that they would be fluffing the wood chips, it's already dropped down 3, 4, 5 inches in some places. Has the tech, I know that they're supposed to do it on a weekly basis, has that happened?
As far as fluffing,
yeah.
I don't believe it's a weekly basis.
No.
I think it's monthly. We go out there and fluff.
And-
And it will still deteriorate over time as mulch compacts and crushes against itself. It then creates little fibers that fall to the bottom, so it's no longer as fluffy. But yes, he does go out there with the garden rake and they do fluff.
Okay, so is it possible that he can take pictures? Because I'm a visual guy. I have to see it and say, okay, he did fluff it. If in his endeavors, he can take a picture of before, after, and this way we can show that it has been done.
You got it.
The light that was on the tree in Sunchase Park, nothing's been done about that.
We asked MNC for a proposal on that one.
I don't think they did that.
I'll have to double check and see if we received one. I can't recall if that was one presented and not moved forward with or not. But I know we asked MNC for a proposal to put it on a pole that was concreted in because the tree was removed.
And quotes for the striping. I know a lady came in and talked about the striping months ago. So I spoke with Stephanie today, and she's going to reach out to other government entities to look for other companies and get their, what their costs were. So this way we have a kind of a basis of what it costs to get that repair done.
I've just been I've reached out to 3 of them and I've only gotten one proposal back. And I just don't, like I said to you today, I don't know if it's just the time of year, but people are just not calling me back.
I think that, and on top of that, we've requested those 3 times now for this district.
Yes.
So the contractors we're going back to who we never then give a response to are probably a little remiss to respond.
A side comment, if I may, about in the parks. I appreciate the report. There was something brought up earlier in the evening about one event that was held in one of our parks, and the innuendo that was said at that time that it was purposefully done for certain people, and my name was indeed mentioned in that. I would like to say, and I think it's all right if I say this, David, you and I have had the opportunity to meet a couple of times, once when I was just a candidate, and then once after I was seated. And one of the things David and I have talked about, events in other parks. We did not ever have in our, and I think it was good conversation, David, in my mind, that's what it was. And we talked about doing things in some of the other parks. And I remember specifically us talking about the area at the Hatch area. We didn't go into any great detail, we didn't, but we did discuss that. And so I would like for folks to know that there's never been, in my mind, a focus on one park, ever. So I look forward, David, possibly that we can talk about some other things again. Anyway, thank y'all.
Okay. Any other comments on that? And where was this information, how did this information came about?
That I just said?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I said that I met with David, Director Flores. He and I have talked when I was a candidate, and then we talked one other time before we actually got a seat. The election was out there, but we hadn't been seated as such. I felt that the conversations were very productive. It was only David and I, nobody else. We were not a floating board meeting. It was just David and I. I have a great deal of respect for David, and I believe that my feeling is that I felt that it was reciprocal. And but the outcome of that was a pretty significant discussion about parks and activities in all of our parks. And as I say, it kind of got to me when the innuendo is that there was a preference and something only for one park. And so I hope that we.
And that's what I was asking more of, like the innuendo, where was it coming from?
I heard that tonight in public comment time. I heard that in public.
Yeah, I was also called, supposedly I was at a park playing Santa, and that was published in Linda Fobb's website.
Oh, I see.
And I wasn't here, I wasn't here that week.
Okay.
And yeah, so, yeah, but Hanoi played Santa.
Point of order, I don't think this is.
Yeah, well, it's related to parks. All I'm saying is information is coming, so I just wanted to make that clear.
It is related to parks.
Well,
Regarding the Christmas event, is that what you're discussing?
well, let me say, I perhaps opened it. I did. I opened it up.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of misinformation going around.
Because my name was used, and I never had that in mind. And as I say, prior to that one particular event, I'd had discussions with, as I said, I have a great deal of respect for you, David. And we talked about other kinds of activities in some of our other parks. And we've not been doing that for some time. And so I just wanted to make that statement because it had been brought up. And that, however somebody receives that, I don't know. But anyway, I just wanted to make that statement.
Thank you. Anybody else? No? All right, so should we go ahead with
the holiday lights all in the parks?
Yeah.
Do you all still need the engineers here?
No.
That's, I was just about to ask. The only reason I'm saying this, there's an item 8E that has discussion about the CMU wall, and I didn't want to run off if you needed us.
No, we
won't talk about it again.
Okay. All right, well, we will.
Sorry to keep you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
So yeah, I just wanted to mention about the holiday lights, or Christmas lights, I say Christmas lights. That we approved a proposal, we got an estimate, and we paid, they actually didn't fulfill their obligation. Have you gone and looked at what they did? Anybody take a look at what they did? Anybody go out? Anybody raise your hands? You got it? I went to go see it.
Yeah,
I went to see it.
I saw all the stuff that was left over from previous vendors that the Parks Committee didn't do anything about.
I wasn't here this week.
So, you know, the proposal said that we would get wreath lights, and there's no lights on the wreaths. You know, the proposal said that we would get, Valente Hills would get their lights put up as well, but it was my understanding that Valente Hills always does their own lights, which I was happy that they handle their own. So I don't know why somebody would put that in the proposal to put it on there. But neither here nor there, but they just didn't, you know, fulfill, they put solar lights that they didn't put in. There were supposed to be lights lit up on the wreaths that have not been done. So who holds this contractor accountable is we paid Infomarkets, you hold them accountable?
We can, but we worked with Beth on ensuring that things were done accordingly, and I think there were some issues with what they could or could not do and where, as far as where we did or didn't have electricity available.
Correct.
So yeah, there's gonna be some areas where they
Absolutely.
plan to do one thing and they have to change.
In the entranceway of Anderson Mill and
Let me ask you a question, because that is not park, right? So can we?
So is Parks.
Well, you're talking about the entrance of Anderson Mill. How is that
Park.
park?
He's talking about
That's
Christmas
always,
lights.
it's always Christmas lights, it's always fall on the parks, and that's Christmas lights.
Okay.
Okay? So yeah, this entranceway of 620, there is power there, and there are no lights on those wreaths.
Can I make
Yes,
a, so at that particular intersection, I had to have our district technician go out, our electrician guy, go out and meet with them because when the sign got hit, there was not any electricity there, so he had to go out and meet with them. He has not been able to coordinate with them because they're on other projects, as well as our electrician is on other projects. So in order for them to put lights on there, they have to have a glue gun to put the lights on because the sign is plastic. So they are coming back to install that. I know it's already almost Christmas.
Right, so my point is we're so quick to give these people money and hire these people to do it, but we're not quick to hold people accountable. It's like, we should definitely hold people accountable, and we paid the check prior to their installation, and what recourse do we have to,
It wasn't paid.
is not use them again, I guess,
It was
that's
not
fine.
paid prior to
No.
installation.
Absolutely not.
Well, that's what the bookkeeper told me today. I called, she paid,
It wasn't paid prior to installation. We had to request an update on payment for it, and
Didn't even get a deposit.
he didn't get his deposit even prior to installation.
Can we agree to talk about this at a committee? Time is almost up. And
but
And
can we,
Yeah,
everybody want to move forward and not hold people accountable?
so can we do information management committee? You're welcome to put that on the agenda for next month. Information management committee, do you have anything, Beth? I don't have anything. All right, so I move that we move item 6C, review committee assignments and create working committees as needed, after we reconstitute the board. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. Do we need any discussion for that? No? Okay, can we vote? All in favor? All right,
I'd like to make a motion.
go for it.
I move that we have Carol Norrell as our president of WTCMUD1.
We're going to let's just go over first the old business
You said reconstitute
7.
the board.
No, I'm saying to move that item after
reconstitute,
the reconstitution
which
of
is
the board.
8A. We haven't
8A.
done 7.
Yeah, so let's do 7 first. Old business including security deposit refunds.
So like we discussed last month, we've been applying them and reaching out to people who didn't have one applied for one reason or another. We've also attempted to pull records prior to 2012, which is when the billing system conversion took place. And the records prior to that are a little difficult to, access to work through. So it's CSV files of old account information. We have not had any pushback or kickback. Residents are completely okay when they're presented with the rate order where it shows that they were supposed to pay a deposit, and when it's clear that they were either never charged one or they just don't have one on file. So like I said last month, we were going to work on applying, and we haven't had any kickback. So haven't had anybody upset or irate. Anybody who would be, we would recommend coming to the board meeting so you all can hear from them. So far, we've not had any issues. As far as the items 7C, we already covered that under my report for the input material. So.
All right, so number 8, business including A, reconstitute the board of director of the district pursuant to requirements of section 49.05B of the Texas Water Code. I do, before we call a motion on this, I do want to let the board know I have had some changes in my job where it's required me to do a lot of flying and out of the state. So I'm not interested this time to be a president. So if you can motion to appoint somebody or you're welcome to do that. I'm hoping that we can give a chance to somebody else to take this role.
Can you make a motion?
I'll make a motion. I got a
Yeah,
motion
I
to nominate Carol Norrell as president of
Okay,
WTC1.
so we have a motion on the table. Do we have a second? Okay, motion fails.
Okay. See what happens here.
Do we have a motion?
Can you make a motion?
Well, I'm presiding, so I'm asking for somebody to make a motion. I'll be happy to second it, but
Okay.
just wanna.
I have thought about this. And what officers do we have?
So we have president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer, but we'll talk about first, we'll go one to one.
Okay.
I will start president.
I move that Chris Rocco be nominated as president of the board.
I'm not
I think,
interested in
you
president.
were going to.
Not interested.
Yeah, I make a motion Beth be president of the board.
Okay, I'll second that motion.
Discussion?
Yep, open for discussion, starting with Carol.
Well, okay, I have a great deal of respect for you, Beth. And I think in lots of ways you'll make a very good president. I do. I have to ask a question, though. My discussion I've had, never with any but one person at a time, never with more than that, is that my feeling, I've made this statement several times, is I want to shut the door on the past. I want to shut the door and let's move forward in that we will work together in a respectful way, conduct ourselves calmly always, and whether we agree with one another or not. That includes those who come to watch us. I would like that very much. There's hurts in the past, there are. And so I'm asking, can we let things go? Beth, how are we doing? How do you feel about being president?
How do I feel about it?
Yeah,
I think I understand a lot of things on the board. I think I've been on the board for almost 5 years.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. If it's not a good fit, if after 6 months, are you willing to voluntarily step down?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, we can always reconstitute.
We can do it next
That's the great thing about being on this board.
And I agree.
I think, I know you've done it twice now, right?
Yeah, and
2 years?
yeah, I'm ready to allow somebody else to do it.
Well, I mean, I think that's a great plan, and as I say, but I want us to, sincerely, I want that feeling that we're closing the door, and everybody's got a new start, and we're going to talk to each other in that manner as we sit at this table. Sometimes we don't agree, but that we are doing that. And so you've made the nomination for Beth. I'm going to, and you second, did you already second? Okay, well, I don't have to second it then. Okay, so we've got that name before us.
David?
I think Carol being very experienced and being on other boards in the past, and being an educator and being a mediator, I think it's a very strong reason for her to be president. I see Beth where she continuously speaks out in a negative way during meetings and interrupts and disrupts the meeting. So that's what kind of, I'm going to give her a chance. It's fine. She's going to have the chance to prove herself.
I appreciate that.
And only she can prove to everybody that she's able to do it. So, it's just, there's certain things and certain aspects that I question. Is she the leader that we need? And we're going to give her that chance. That's fine. I think Carol would do a fantastic job today, but, I'm glad you mentioned moving things in the past, moving forward. And look, Beth Jones, I apologize to you in public meeting for anything that I've done to you or anything hurt that I've done to you. I don't know what I've done to you, but I'm sorry, okay? So, I'm sorry, Chris Rocco, I'm sorry if I've ever offended you, if I did something to you. Hanoi, I'm sorry if I've ever done the same, okay? I'm trying to be a better man. Last week in church, it was about forgiveness. It was about moving forward. And so this is what I'm doing. I'm publicly apologizing to all of you. I apologize if I ever did anything to hurt you and offend you, okay? And I look forward to seeing what Beth is going to do. I just hope that she treats me fairly, because I've seen the lashing out that she has towards me, and that's my concern. So I'm going to trust that things will move forward and it'll be fair. And like you said, we can always reconstitute the board if so be it. So those are my only 2 cents.
Yeah, thanks.
I want to make one
Excuse me.
comment.
Yeah, go for it.
We're 3 votes away from changing all this. And if you can convince 3 people, and you're one of the 3 that needs to be changed, we're accountable to, the residents. Yeah, that's right. And if you've got reasons to do it and we don't do it, that's going to show up.
It sure will.
So, and I'll accept your apology, and I'll make the same to you. I'm willing to start over anew. I did not want to do this if we're going to have, and I'll even say to the audience,
Thank you.
we're not going to throw out the baby with the bathwater. There were some good ideas that previous boards may not have embraced completely, that there's going to be a reason to not embrace them. And if we're talking about the way we spend our money, the way we present information to residents, all these things, I've said I wouldn't take this position unless I'd be allowed to disagree with Beth, or disagree with Hanoi, or even Carol. I mean, boards that don't agree with each other get more done than boards that everybody feels the same way.
That's right.
And that's written everywhere.
Yeah.
On that point, I think that when boards all agree is a disaster.
Yeah,
Spending money.
And
When everybody agrees, this money flows.
Yeah, it's
And
kind of funny.
We need to hold,
Yeah,
we need
it's kind of funny for me to agree with you on that. That's true. Because there are some things that we all should agree on. And one of them is the differences of opinion are good.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've had a first and a second.
And David, I think I have given you some chances. I'm willing to start again. But one thing that I'll ask from you is the next time that you see my son, that you apologize to him. And that would do it. And I'm serious.
Beth?
It's been really hard on him. No, I'm being honest.
I don't know your son. I don't know your son.
You do.
Okay, can we,
That's what I meant.
let's just,
Okay.
I've never met him.
Okay.
David, I appreciate you coming out and expressing apologies. I accept that apology. I think we have been able to work. I do believe in good government. It requires difference of opinion, right? And despite the difference of opinion, I respect you, and I have tried. And I think we've worked together, right? Without
Show
any
you
issue.
respect every time. Yeah, we may
As
disagree
we
on a
reach
bunch of
out to each other and communicated throughout the term of, I want to give Beth a chance. She has served the board for quite a while now. She is a faithful resident to this community. Doing some block walking with her and knowing that she has a lot of people that support her as a director in this community. I think she deserves the chance. I do hope that, Beth, you are able to lead, giving everybody in this table an opportunity to speak and speak their mind, right? And so I believe in chance, and that's why I second the motion. And I think you would do a great job. That's all I have to say.
Do you want me to continue with?
I don't know if you have anything else, Beth,
No, I was going to
talk about anything else?
do the board, the positions that I had on here.
Oh, you have to vote on this one.
Vote on this one. Yeah.
Okay.
So we
Unless
have
Beth
a
needs-
motion, a second. Are we ready to vote?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
all in favor?
yes.
Okay.
Very good, very good.
I want to make a motion for the remaining slate. I want Vice President / Treasurer Hanoi.
So Beth, sorry if I stop you there, but she's now officially, you voted in as
Right.
president. So
Yeah.
you take the spot and then lead the meeting.
And before you give that motion, you have president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, then just that blank director. If you all, that can really.
We're going to call it Assistant Secretary.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you
Yeah,
can do
yeah.
assistant VP,
Yeah,
assistant secretary, but it's
that's
always
where
good
it's
to
not
have
going to be blank.
an assistant secretary is always good for backup signatures. for
Right.
Okay.
Because we know we need to comply with certain statutory where you need a signature and somebody's out of town or not available. If you don't have it set up that way, they can't sign it.
Right.
Okay. Well, now since she's the president, she can't make the rest of it, so.
Not easy.
No, I'm gonna make a motion that we reconstitute what we had before, the committees, and to give me the authority to assign the committees back to
Okay.
how it used to
Well,
be.
what about the rest of the positions, Vice President?
That's part
That's
of
what
it.
I just said.
Oh, okay,
Reconstitute the board.
To reconstitute the board.
okay, so we need
Give
to
the
make a motion?
authority to assign the committees.
Okay.
Oh, she said, and.
We need to make a motion to vote on that?
Yes, you do.
I make a motion that we reconstitute the board and committee
I'm
assignments.
sorry to be a stickler, but we have we're only able to make 2 motions per director, and that would be your third motion. I'm trying to follow the rules.
We need to change that too.
You can do it with a board vote, though.
We
to
just
extend
have to vote to
someone's
give you more votes, so I just wanna,
I'll second that, so you can go ahead and have as many as you want.
it was the rule, we can get rid of it, but we have to
Okay,
follow the
second
rules.
it, so anybody have anything to say, or we can vote, so we can move on? My
So-
phone died, so I don't know.
We didn't even make the motion yet.
25 weeks.
We have to make the motion.
You made the motion, he seconded the motion.
Did I make the motion? Okay.
Oh, I thought you did, but
Move
So we're,
to
sorry,
allow-
I second the motion to extend
his voting.
Who made the motion?
his
His-
ability
I
to
think I
make
thought you-
additional motions.
Okay.
So,
Let's all take
I make a
precedent.
motion
We got a
to-
lot of motions out there, so I want to make sure. All right, so the first motion, I'm going to, Beth made a vote, well, there are 2 motions, including Beth's, so let's go to David's to allow the other motions, and then we can go back to y'all's motions. Is that okay with everybody?
David, go for it.
Okay, thanks.
I move to allow Chris Robert to make more, extend the amount of motions
By 2, maybe?
by 2.
Is a slate one motion?
A motion, when you say, I want to make a motion, that's one.
Okay, I want to make a motion that the,
We second that motion.
Second.
Yeah, hold on, we got a second and vote.
we got to vote, all in favor?
No, he seconded it. You're on.
okay.
And
Now
is that,
then, go for it.
and that,
Now, yes, you've
Okay.
done that, you can have 2 more motions. The president is Beth, that's all you have so far.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, I want to make a motion to reconstitute committees, assignments, and give that assignment to the president of the board.
Did you feel the slate?
Can someone second that, please?
I'll second that motion.
Take a vote.
discussion, I think,
Discussion.
I think it would be fair for all of us to have a say, not just one. You know, we are an equal board, we do have a voice, and I think we should be able to plead our case.
That's it. Easy.
So, that's just one of the 2 cents on it.
Anything?
On the positions?
No.
Discussion.
To agree with this, he had something to say, so now we vote.
Okay,
If we approve or disapprove of this.
okay, so are you calling for the vote?
I'm calling for the vote. Do we
Okay.
approve?
All in favor?
All
in
in favor?
Okay.
Or call.
Okay, now then.
Okay, the next one that we needed to do that we started was for Hanoi, the vice president.
I think you can list them all in one
Right,
and make a
it's
motion, or
A
no?
slate,
Yeah,
How we did it before, how it used to be done.
right,
Okay.
because we just reconstituted that.
So Vice President, Hanoi. Secretary, Chris. Assistant Secretary, Carol. Treasurer, Hanoi.
David.
What?
Is it David for,
It's,
because you didn't say him.
She hadn't gotten it.
No, she's
Okay.
doing that list, yeah.
Okay, I thought she meant to say you,
No.
she looked your direction and I was like, wait,
She
No.
knows what she's doing.
sorry.
and then we've got
We've got assistant secretary.
Assistant Secretary is David, no, I'm sorry, Assistant Secretary is
You did that,
Carol.
right, and then also David.
Treasurer is Hanoi.
All right.
And then our Management Committee.
Wait a minute, you still have to do David's position. We just
What is
said what,
David's position? I don't
assistant
have it.
secretary. You can have more than one assistant secretary.
Okay, 2 Assistant Secretaries, and that's David and Carol.
Okay, so
I didn't know you could have 2.
You
So
could
sorry.
have 5.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
That's fine.
So, I mean, every vote is one vote.
Right, exactly.
So the motion is Hanoi Vice President
And
Correct.
treasurer,
/ Treasurer.
Right.
Okay.
And then you've got
Chris,
secretary.
then Assistant Secretary Carol, and Assistant Secretary David.
correct.
Correct. Okay. Information Management Committee.
Well, let's do
Hanoi.
a vote on that, because
Okay.
that's what I need for the PCQ. The PCQ doesn't care about committees, so I need to vote on that first. For the, yeah, sorry, I don't.
Okay. Can we all take a vote on that?
Well, you appoint them, right?
I just did.
Yeah, I
Appointed
thought
them.
she appointed them. That's what that reconstituting is about.
So you're not appointing committee position, because you've
Not
been.
not yet.
Not yet.
Right.
We have
so-
given the position, the authority to the president to do the
Appoint,
vice president
okay,
and the
all right.
committee positions.
Okay, so then that's what it is, okay.
So that's a done deal.
So no vote, it's just, it is what it is.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Okay, good.
I'll make sure he's ready.
Yeah, I'm ready, sorry. Okay.
Okay, Information Management Committee is Hanoi and Carol.
Beth, I want to make something clear. I do not want to be appointed for deed restrictions nor billing and invoices. I want out of that, so if
You're
you're...
not.
Okay.
Okay.
Infrastructure Committee, Chris and Hanoi. Parks Committee, Hanoi and Beth. Waste Management Committee, David and Chris. Budget Committee and Billings and Invoice all together is Chris and Carol. Open Records is Cole, Coates and Rose. Deed Restriction Committee is Chris and Beth. Management Committee is also Chris and Beth.
All right, so that was fast, so let me go through. Information Management, Hanoi and Carol. Infrastructure, Hanoi and Chris. Parks, Hanoi and Beth. Waste Management, Chris and David. Open Records, our office. Then you have Management Committee,
Correct.
and that's Chris and Beth. And then what was the last one? Is there one more?
No.
That was all?
You got deed?
Deed.
Oh,
Yeah, budget.
Deeds is Chris and
Who
Beth.
did budget?
Deeds.
What about budget?
B and I
Chris.
And
together.
your budget is Chris and Carol.
Budget and B and I
Budget,
together. Okay.
Chris, and Carol.
So, budget
Which is
and
also
bills and invoice.
billing and invoices,
Budget
Chris
/
and
billing
Carol.
invoices.
I think all new people should do that, just because we learn
So-
so much.
And so David is a, what?
Waste management.
Waste man, oh,
Deeds. What was this
Okay.
one? Deeds was Chris and Beth. Oh, management. I don't know.
Wasn't there,
Cool, honestly.
so that's gonna change on the web.
Can,
Well,
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
We got to stand on time, it's 8:32.
Okay.
Can we stand, somebody
Vote to extend.
motion to extend the time?
I make a motion, we extend the
Spend time
time.
for 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
That's it.
what are we gonna leave out?
All in favor?
Well,
Just waiting for Cole.
All right. So no, you second that?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to,
Okay.
did we do audit committee?
audit would also be with,
David's supposed to be involved.
And then there's customer care.
Let's-
There's investments.
no, we're not, those are all with, we haven't ever had those before, but audit committee, let's do David and Chris.
Okay. And where's customer care?
That's the same as what we have with management committee,
Okay.
that's all the same.
Okay.
Okay.
So what we're still missing, let's go ahead and let's extend this if we can for 10 minutes so we can do the attorney's report. Can we do that?
Yes.
I'm just gonna change the motion from 5 to 10.
Okay, good.
Please. All in favor with that? We need to at least let Cole.
Okay, so you all reconstituted the board just now. Please, I need a motion to authorize us filing the district registration form with TCEQ. that is really the only other item, if you could make that motion.
Carol moves.
Carol just made it.
Okay,
I'll second it.
thank you. Yes,
All in favor?
All in favor?
thank you. Thanks, and then, let's see what else is on here. Okay, I'm just gonna skip over the rest of new business, unless you all wanna talk about it, but I'll finish my report. My report's simple, I just have discussed publishing board packet materials on the district website before board meetings. Again, we kinda talked about that when you all brought up the open records request that our office received. It was just something that I decided to put on the agenda, to present it to you all to think about. That's really all, so.
And I think a committee is gonna discuss that, because it's a good idea.
Okay,
To be honest, it is currently published. We do try our best to meet a 12 PM deadline on the day of the meeting. It tends to be the time that we do have all of the reports in there. Anything that we see that may need a required redaction, we don't put up. If it has resident information or addresses or names or things like that, we do err on the side of caution, so we only publish the things that we do know are safe to publish. So there is, I think there's 3 things up there right now. My report, the engineer's report, and bookkeeping report are all live.
okay. And I think that's all I have under my report. I think, I would recommend that, I guess, Hanoi and Carol for the Information Management Committee, you all take a look, do a deep dive on the website and see, because we do get requests about budget's not on, like, budget after it's being approved isn't on there, the audit, and stuff like that. So it might be worth doing a deep dive to kind of see what's out there, what's missing, things that need to be on there, so. That's all I have.
I was gonna suggest that you get the open records request and you know what information they're looking for, send that to them so they know,
Yeah.
you know,
What to look for.
what to look for and what to post and make sure it's posted.
Right, exactly, and we keep that, the district has that spreadsheet on the Google Drive of all the open records requests from even your previous attorneys, so we update that anytime we get one, so whichever committee is kind of looking at those.
Does that prevent duplication except for updating?
I mean, there are certain more in-depth items that it prevents it, because we easily know, oh, we've had this request before, we can just go pull it.
Right, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so certainly, but to be honest with you, the amount of duplicate requests we receive are pretty slim.
Okay, that's good, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
I know we've talked about going into executive session, and if we are, I would like to discuss options for counteracting potential misinformation concerning the district on social media or other media sources.
Unfortunately,
So
that's
D.
not an item you could talk about, is that?
What's on there? It's on the agenda.
Oh, okay, I just mean you
Yeah,
can't
it
talk
is.
about it in an executive session,
Executive
yeah,
session.
that's all.
So we cannot go into executive session for seek legal counsel on this issue?
I guess you could if there's pending or threatened litigation.
Define pending or threatening litigation, there has to be a filing court to do that?
No.
Okay. I believe there's a threat for potential litigation.
Then, yeah, I mean, then you all can discuss
So
it.
are you asking that we extend the meeting for 30
Yeah,
minutes?
for 30 more minutes to go into an executive session to talk about that item and the item regarding the, I believe, lift station that we've touched on at the beginning. We wanted to put it into executive session, yes.
Right.
Okay, can we take a vote for
I
extending
need
the
a
meeting?
second, because he made the motion. You need a second.
I'll second.
A discussion. I think we need to get rid of this 2-hour limit. I'm just saying, we keep extending, make it 3 hours, and then this way we don't have to keep making motions to extend it and extend it. Work hard to.
We don't always need that,
So.
sometimes.
Is that all
Anybody
in
else have
favor?
anything else to
Does
say?
everybody in favor
All
vote?
in favor?
Okay.
So extended for 30 minutes.
Carol, did you vote in favor?
I'll vote.
Okay.
Well, they have to go in executive session. Make the announcement.
Can, I'm gonna have
Yeah.
Y'all are don't they need to make the announcement that they're going into executive session?
Go ahead.
Yes.
take a 5-minute break.
And the
You have
time,
Five-minute break in
Oh.
executive session.
the time.
Okay.
They used to have a.
8:39.
thing
We're gonna go
written.
into executive session, so anybody that's.
Well, not yet, we're gonna
It's
go in
not-
5 minutes.
Okay, so the day in the
No
report.
decisions, no votes to be held during this session.
Correct.
There should be something written for her to read in the future.
Okay, I
Okay.
can draft something.
Okay.
Information from. So if you're not a board member, get out and you can please remove yourself from
Okay,
the room. That would be fantastic.
may I make a statement? My watch says it's 8:39. We're going to go into closed session in 5 minutes. Is that what you're
Right.
saying?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the time that we will go into closed session
Right.
in 5 minutes.
So it
Okay.
should be 9:16.
So it's an open meeting until 5 minutes.
Until 5 minutes from now, yes,
It allows people to leave and.
yes. Okay.
What was that? Oh, that was the door opening.
Oh, I think so.
So, we're doing okay?
That was a lot of information being thrown at.
And I'm
I don't tend to comment on, any of the board decisions, but I think David is good on the infrastructure committee.
I think it's a special
Because
chair
he's
and it
hands-on.
pushes your booty.
Yeah.
And you
So
want
I
to
don't know if
complain.
that-
Kenzie, on your leave,
Well-
tell her thank you for the pizza.
I-
Carol, there's pizza out there.
okay, thank you, girl.
Oh, there's pizza out there.
Thank you. I might have a slice in a second.
There's, what is there, sausage, cheese, veggie, what did I say? Sausage, cheese,
Pepperoni or something?
pepperoni.
And I'll be glad when I get my iPad. This is hard trying to see on my phone.
I can read all that.
But, well, I did well, but it still runs together on me.
Mackenzie, thank you.
Wow. I'm also, I don't want to see, expressions in the language.
Yeah, I just don't think that's appropriate in any manner for any.
8:42.
Okay, I was just making sure it's not trying to cut it yet.
Yeah. Or, yes, okay.
What
I've never
did you
seen
find out
it,
about your
because
power?
to me,
Electrician
this
coming
is
tomorrow
a
at
unique district.
Yes.
So I've
our
never seen it,
entire
but
living
yes,
room and
you
kitchen are
can
done.
have people.
Except for the
Well,
light over the side.
it's just my nature.
No Christmas lights.
Yeah, no indoor Christmas lights. We have outside, everything else in the house works, but like the tree's not lit, my little
Yeah.
storage isn't lit, nothing.
And so I make notes of
Very
timeline,
frustrating.
what was happening.
Yeah.
And I
But,
have that.
we think we determined it's the breaker, because when Cody got home right before I left, he put a meter on that breaker, no voltage. At the breaker, not in the
Why don't they
house.
just bring out a new
They're gonna
one?
bring in a breaker, but I'm reminding you right now to text the guy and tell him it's coming.
But that's the kind of stuff that gets in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Have a piece of pizza.
And I'm pleased that.
Is it time?
No, not yet.
Yes, I will say that to you, ma'am. I'm very pleased that you're going to be, that you are president.
Thank you.
I'm pleased for what happened here tonight with
Man, I might.
words.
I apologize.
There's vegetable apparently.
That's what.
I'm doing pizza. I'm doing pizza.
It's an
I do
interesting
too.
thing, interesting thing tonight.
Then you got it.
This
And yes, I will try very hard, but it's hard when someone brings a gun to your house.
I know, but, yeah. But all these checks that were handed to me, it looks to me like they've got 3 signatures on them already. So why did I get them? I give them to Cole? Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Or Mackenzie.
Oh, okay, I guess that's,
Y'all ready?
are there checks in here for us? Or not?
Maybe, but I didn't see any.
Oh, I'm not gonna worry about
Are
it.
y'all ready?
It's not, it's not a whole lot of,
Okay, we are all out of executive session.
We gotta make sure the recording's on.
It's 9:41.
I'm sorry? No, it was just mic on.
No, I'm on. It's 9:41, we're out of executive session, and I think what I'm gonna say, is there anything that anybody would like to talk about, or
Well, no actions were taken in the executive session.
Right.
no actions were taken during
We
executive
need that, we
session?
need that speech for her also, Nicole.
I'll learn it.
No, you're supposed to read it, there's no way you memorize it. Okay.
No actions were taken during executive session. And is there anything that anybody would like to discuss?
Does that include a motion?
Sure.
Okay. I make a motion that we ask legal counsel to draft a demand letter to the appropriate parties concerning certain legal matters as they pertain to what's the word I'm thinking of? Community websites and information sources about the board and the district that are affecting property values and such, and the contents of such demand letter to be worked out with the legal counsel.
And I'm gonna need you to repeat that motion, Cole, when you get it typed up.
Okay.
And that's a list, which includes a cease and desist.
Okay, draft is better, but, so Chris makes a motion to draft, for legal to draft a demand letter, which is a cease and desist to a community website and information source regarding defamation against the board and current directors.
There you go.
Okay.
That's the motion.
Does that sound? Okay.
It's
So
clear to me.
that's the motion, okay.
Second.
Anything that needs to be added?
I would say it's more than the website, it's an extended, but I don't know if we can kind of expand the language to allow the attorney to,
Personal attacks?
Yeah, and I would say whatever's appropriate.
after,
Okay, so, motion to draft cease and desist letter to community websites and information sources about the board and current directors, comma, which includes personal attacks made against people as their role as directors on the board.
damage of the district to the district.
Includes personal attacks amongst, towards directors and damaging remarks made toward the district. Okay. Or which affect the district.
Yeah, which affect the district.
So do we need a second?
Yeah, we need a second.
can
I'll
I,
second that.
Discussion?
clarity for me. Language is extremely important. It's a cease and desist letter, and that the content of that is defamation against MUD board and members, board members,
The directors.
Directors,
as their-
okay,
their
all right.
role on the board.
and their role on the board. And the term was used to community websites. Is that like inclusive or ad item or what? Community websites is a broad term.
The one website that you all discussed was the website, MUDucation.
But then there could be another one that
But
come
there
out and
could
they
be
just,
other
yeah,
ones.
right. If to change the
Okay,
name, a
so-
new one,
Or Facebook.
At all.
Yeah, or Facebook.
At all.
vendors.
Community websites, it's certainly inclusive, that covers like Nextdoor and Facebook.
Right,
and,
right,
I
right,
mean,
right.
there are multiples of community websites, so are we is that what we want?
Yeah.
That broad, okay.
Yeah. And-
Call vendors.
Yeah, and I was gonna
Add
say, if
vendors.
we're talking about damage to the district, it would also include vendors, not just
Right.
board directors.
Right,
So add that to the,
right,
Okay.
right. I'm gonna keep that under the remarks which affect the district.
Okay. Yeah, that's broad enough.
Okay. So then I will need to, in a second, I know there's still more points of discussion, but we'll do the discussion and you all discuss it, then I'll
That's a discussion.
say what I need.
We discussed it. Let's call for a vote.
Do we need any
Did
further
you, oh yeah, you
discussion?
got a second already, you
Yeah.
already
I have a
did.
second.
Anybody have a discussion? Didn't you
Yeah.
say you wanted to
Yeah, go ahead,
discuss,
David.
David?
Did I say I wanted to discuss?
Well,
You-
I never said
you
I
do an
wanted to
alternate.
discuss, but I will, now I'll say I want to discuss. My only thing, vendors, is, wouldn't that just fall under the vendors to go about it themselves? Why would the MUD speak for vendors?
Because it's affecting the district.
Well,
Do you not
I'm
care
just,
about the
hold on,
district?
I'm speaking, hold on, don't interrupt when I speak, please. I just don't think that if it was an issue with vendors, the vendors should take it on their own hands and do whatever they want. We are here for the MUD, and not to protect vendors, but we're here to protect the MUD.
I disagree.
I disagree.
Could I
People ask me, why are you hiring those
could I
vendors?
make a
if they're so
comment?
bad?" Go ahead.
Can I make a comment? I see the point that you're making, but let me say this to you. We make contracts. We do sign with vendors. They work for us, they represent us. Their actions affect us as well as our actions affect them. We are in a relationship with our vendors. And so when a relationship is established, that's a binding that holds in the contract world. It holds in the legal world totally. So if lawsuits ensue, they potentially sweep across everybody that we work with. So I find it very viable to add the term in our vendors as well.
I would say that the damage has been great. The people that have come to work for us, or the people that do not want to come to work for us because they basically know if they come to work for us, they be discredited, they'll be publicized. Infomark has gone through literal, we know what. Artesian, harassment after harassment. I have had to work on negotiating for them to beg them to stay with us.
Sage management we've lost Gray Engineering.
And literally, I mean, the
I could go on
community
and
knows
on.
us for
We've lost 3
not
lawyers.
being a good MUD, right?
And what I say, I mean, I'm making the statement that I think it's appropriate that vendors are included. When we're talking about its defamation against the board members, the MUD itself, and to include there with all the vendors that are connected with our MUD, that are part of us. I mean, not naming them, we're not putting names here, we're just the term, the general term, generic term.
Yeah, because I can't speak on behalf of.
No.
any
We're not
other
asking you
vendor.
to.
Right, yeah,
No, and you're not
We can get a
putting,
new vendor tomorrow.
right. Well, and all your
Well,
vendors have
and all
their own
future-
representation too.
Future, past.
Okay,
All the above.
call for the vote.
Okay, can we take a vote? All in favor? All nays?
Nay.
So I'll draft a letter and I'll bring it to your January meeting for you all to look at. I'll distribute it beforehand, but that way you all can look at it and provide comments before the January meeting. And then if there's any revisions or anything like that, we can address those at the meeting and then send it out.
Okay.
I guess I want to send another motion to engage counsel, because we're just going to do a research letter, a demand letter, so I'm wondering, because of the extent of the motion, that if we need to approve a special counsel to look into this matter. a litigator.
Let's see what happens first, before we do that.
Should we, I would say we have to approve certain amount and engage specialized counsel to do
It's
this.
affecting him right now.
Okay.
We have to.
Okay.
So I motion that we engage specialized counsel, a litigator,
He has a job and a family.
that's going to draft this letter,
That's very unprofessional.
and look into potential filing litigation.
So motion to hire outside counsel.
Outside counsel
Okay.
that specializes in litigation in this matters of damage,
Okay,
to draft the letter and look into potential litigation.
okay.
But we need it sent within 10 days.
I'm sorry, the hypocrisy. He has a family, we have a family. It's no different than you
Can we-
engaging on the
can we
Facebook
bring
page
order?
with
Please escort her out.
Anderson Mill
Monroe,
West. The hypocrisy, the defamation.
Have her please
Without Chris Rocco's
escape.
defamation, your defamation against us. The
Please have her leave.
hypocrisy. You people are something else.
Monroe,
You don't
make
need to
sure
touch
she
me,
goes
I
to her
need you.
car, please. Thank you.
So do I have a second?
I'll second that. But are you okay, Cole, getting something out in 10 days?
Well, Hanoi's motion is to have outside counsel draft a letter and do it, so your motion was to have outside counsel draft a letter and investigate the matter further. Do you want me to draft the initial letter and then you all hire outside counsel to do their investigation? Or, I'm not,
Well, I would consider somebody maybe that's more neutral into this. Cole,
I'm
I don't
totally
want you to
okay
be
with that.
reported to the bar, just,
I'm
I'd
not-
rather you be neutral and maybe hire somebody within your firm or outside that specializes in this kind of matters.
Yeah, we don't really have anyone in our firm that specializes in defamation or First Amendment or anything like that, so I would recommend probably if you all want to, I mean, I could ask around, otherwise if you all know of anyone who handles those matters, you could probably find someone local who could do that.
Okay, the way it is right now, let me understand this, if I can ask right now. The way we are right now, we've got the motion made and voted, approved, that you worded very nicely. Now then, so the content of that is a cease and desist letter, right? Is that?
That was the first motion.
Okay, that's what we've got there, the cease and desist, which you were going to handle.
And that has been approved.
Okay,
so-
but what I'm
Has
coming
it
to,
been-
so,
are you
but now
okay?
you're asking, we get another counsel to take it, what are we going to do with that person?
To actually dive in to see causes of action.
Okay,
To begin
okay,
to
so.
research on causes of action.
I got you, I see it now. So you're wanting further research into where we are.
Right.
Because the potential is there for a significant thing to occur.
Yeah.
And so.
Yes, if it doesn't exist, we want to have counsel ready
I got
to
you.
move with any
Okay.
causes of action.
But here's my concern that I need to make very clear that I understand that from all of you, is it okay that we are waiting 30 days for this?
I don't think you have a choice.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, the letter can be written and two people can approve it and it can be
And
sent
also
out.
allow this to be something that the management committee oversees now that you have one again.
Yeah, that's what I mean, because,
Okay.
you know, I
I mean, we
don't
are
want
at
to see
Christmas time
anybody.
too, so that's.
Yeah, I would love to be able to get it out quicker, but I leave town on Friday to visit my wife's in-law, or my in-laws.
But we
and
don't,
I'm
but
out
you're
for
not,
2
you're not
weeks.
gonna be gone for a month.
No, I'll be back at the beginning
I
of
think-
January, so I can get something to you all, I can get something to you all in the middle of, before your meeting in January, but I don't get back until the 5th.
Okay, so.
Just to make sure he doesn't do his job.
Okay. What do you think about that? You want it sooner than that?
The demand letter?
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Beth?
Did we get a second on that motion? Was there a
We
second?
had, they
The
did a
demand
second.
letter one.
We
If you want
haven't
it
voted on
sooner, I can work on it while I'm out of town and send it to you all, and that way you have it around the holidays to review.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Yes, please.
So there was a motion, a second. What was the motion? I stepped out. I didn't
The
quite.
first motion was.
No, the second one.
The second.
Motion by Hanoi to hire an outside counsel to investigate causes of action.
Okay.
For litigation.
So
Regarding the first motion, what the
I
content of the
think
first
that
motion.
this motion is, I feel that Hanoi is using, it's affecting his personal life, and he's using his role as a director to go around having to do it in a personal aspect.
No.
Well, hold on, this is
That's
what
not
I'm.
the case.
Okay, well,
It's
this
not a
is, I'm
personal
just letting you know what I'm getting, okay?
Okay, I'll
So,
explain after.
I feel that it's a personal thing, because she just mentioned about his job, okay? She just said that. Do we want to do it sooner, because I don't want him to lose his job, is what Beth just said.
Okay, this was discussed
Hold
in
on.
executive session. Why are we bringing
She
it out?
just said that. She just said that right now, okay? Did you say that, Beth?
I'm not
You're being
gonna,
recorded.
you know what?
You're being recorded.
I'm not gonna get into that right
Okay.
now.
So, she just said,
You are speaking.
and so to me, it feels that because it's affecting him personally, and he may lose his job,
Is there a motion there?
you made
No,
a motion.
there's not that motion.
Hanoi made the motion, Beth seconded, and now David's commenting on the motion.
And now you're interrupting me again.
Okay,
So-
I
That has
asked that-
nothing to do with the motion.
Director, I asked that my employer is not brought into this, nor stuff that we have spoken in executive session. So can you please bring this to order?
Okay.
Yeah, so
So-
I'm gonna ask you to stop right there, David. 'cause
What
you're
would you
not-
like me to stop?
I would like you to just focus on what the motion is, not with what other people said. So if you have something to talk about, that specific
To the
motion,
motion.
do so, and that's all.
Okay. So he is trying to get counsel ready for litigation. And the demand letter was sent. So what I'm getting is that he's using his director role to go to
No.
prepare.
This is for all of us as directors.
This is for the residents and their property values.
Okay. I'm just letting you know where I stand and what I see and how the information is being relayed, and this is the conclusion that I'm coming to. So if you allow me to speak and listen to what I have to say, you can correct me.
Point of order.
You can correct me.
Point of order,
Yeah.
Madam President.
You can correct me if I'm wrong. So let me say what I gotta say, and then you can say,
You
that's
already
not
have
what,
it.
that's not what I intended.
David.
This is what I intended to.
Okay, you've already had your time. We're done. Your 2 minutes is up.
Thank you.
Okay, Cole, do you have what you need?
I have a motion and a second.
Okay, let's make a vote.
State the motion, Cole.
Motion by Avila to hire outside counsel to investigate causes of action, seconded by Jones.
Okay.
All in favor?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this meeting is now, is over.
We don't vote.
What? No, we did vote.
To
To adjourn.
To
adjourn.
adjourn our meeting?
All in favor?
Yes, all in favor.
And so the meeting is adjourned at 9:59.
Thank you.
That's the record you put down.
I appreciate it.
Yes. And I,
And
my gavel.
you are being escorted out. The meeting is over and all of us